Hello, Wisershifters. Welcome back to another episode. Prep today. Today we are going to talk about something very important. Stick around. Don't move. This is a Mindset Monday. Think it through. Let's talk about it. Hello, Wisershifters. Thank you for sticking around. Today's episode on Mindset Monday, Think It Through, I want you to think about this. Imagine you go to work and your employer present an ultimatum to you saying either get vaccinated or show proof that you have a medical condition where you cannot get vaccinated, or you have a religious accommodation which will be approved by a third-party company, not them. So if anything happened, guess what? It's going to fall on that third party. So they are covering their butt the best way they can. So think it through. If this whole mandate, which is threatening you and your form of making income so you can live by be able to buy food, paying your rent, and any expense that you have or responsible for, and potentially making money to save for your future, either through your 401k and such, whatever, right? If that is threatened, is that a force or a ultimatum? Think it through, because the last time I checked, how is an employer going to force you to take something that's dealing with you and your body, not knowing how it's going to react, because everybody's biological body is different. So think that through, because I was faced with an ultimatum last Friday, which was what was that, November 10th? Or the 11th. Which day was that? Let me verify, because I want to make sure that I am getting the date correct. So that was the 12th of November. My employer told me, right, you have an option either to get vaccinated or potentially losing your job. So guess what? I had to think it through. So, being a servant of God, I had to make a decision, either get vaccinated or lose a good paying job. Now, to protect the identity of my employer, I am not going to tell you who I work for. But one thing for sure, if you are in the same predicament that I am in, think it through. Do you want to be in a position like that? Now, here's a few thoughts I want you to think it through. Per CDC, if you decide to get vaccinated, right, you have to get vaccinated, right? These are the considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after their second dose and a 2-dose series, such as the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, or 2 weeks after a single dose vaccines such as Johnson & Johnson. So you have these three options. Now, you have to consider these things if you decide to get vaccinated. Think it through. After you get vaccinated and you follow up with the second dose, don't forget there are booster shots that you have to maintain to consider to be vaccinated. Now, question is, how many booster shots are you going to have to take in the future to consider to be vaccinated? And also the question you must think through is that, is it going to be something that you have to pay for, or your employer going to cover that? Because nothing is free. These vaccines being produced is costing the government or whomever is paying for it. Soon enough, you going to have to inherit that money that's being paid to produce such thing, right? And the second thing you have to consider is how many booster shots, based on variant that's going to come out in the future, going to cover you to be fully vaccinated. And remember, once you're considered to be vaccinated, right, based on your dose and booster shots, you are given incentive to live a normal life, consider normal life. Why is that happening? Think it through. Again, I am not a doctor. I am not any physician. I do not know anything in that realm, but I am simply a citizen who observing what's happening in the life that I'm living in, my surroundings. So once you are considered vaccinated, quotation, you will be able to do activities such as travel, gathering, concert, a lot of things that we call normal activity. But yet, if you're not vaccinated, you cannot do those things, or they are limiting those who are not vaccinated to be able to do such thing. So now what are they creating? The Biden administration or whomever is in power, they are creating a new social class or a class. Now, if you think about it, this has a parallel to a lot of things that happen in history. Now, it's ushering a new age, a new dawn of time. So whomever's in control is pushing you to take something, put in your body, and not knowing how it's going to affect you, right? So those are the things you have to think about once you are presented these options, either through your employer or whatever activity you're trying to participate in, right? So think about that. Another thing too, and that was per the cdc.gov, is telling you, I'll have the link in the description below, and it's telling you that because of the mandate, you have to be vaccinated. Once you are vaccinated, you are given perks or privilege or access to things that we consider to be normal before all these things that took place, which is the whole pandemic. So think that through and understand, why am I doing these things, and why are these things are being pressured or incentivized to be vaccinated? And some people say, their argument would say, oh, I want to be able to see my family or to participate in activities, and also I want to be safe. But yet, if you are vaccinated and someone else is not, aren't you supposed to be safe? Or I know all vaccine is not 100% because everybody have a different biology or same foundation, but when I say different biology, I mean how the adverse reaction will be, because it will work perfectly for someone else and may not work well for someone else. But the thing is, why it is being pressured or forced. Some people don't like hearing that. That's like a trigger word for some people. But if you're not allowing someone to choose, where you are giving them a limited option, and if they choose contrary to what they want you to choose, there's severe repercussions such as losing your stream of income and potentially not be able to participate in different activities. And even some people are so wicked enough that they're saying, well, if you're not vaccinated, you cannot go to the hospital and your insurance should cover you. You are responsible for your own self. You see the division and divisive narrative there people are using to separate America. Think that through, because that mindset that is being created and that ideology that is being given to the people, and also making them act and behave, and even reporting one another, families against each other, it's showing me the parallel to what the Bible speak about, where free or bond, enslaved people, rich or poor, would not be able to buy or sell if they do not take the mark. Now, this is something I see that that's foreshadowing the potential marking of the beast. And now I am not a cuckoo. I am just a believer of Jesus Christ. So I read the Bible and I'm seeing in Revelation how they speak about these things. So I'm seeing the parallel comparison. So Wisershifters, think it through. Think about that. Because I'm seeing how we are being conditioned for that to be ushered in, for it to be so in our current time. It may not happen in our lifetime, but it's slowly being manifest and being pushed and being in place for people to be considered, so conditioned to do so. So think about that. Is it a test in what's going on? So going back to my story, I was faced with the ultimatum, right, by my employer, and either vaccinated or not. And I'm reading per CDC.gov is telling me what is considered full vaccinated, and potentially different variant in the future that I may need booster shots to be considered fully vaccinated to be able to enjoy common activity. Think about that. How that going to work and how it is violating human freedom and rights. Now, some people say, well, in other countries, well, there's other countries. Here in America, we have the Constitution, also a level of freedom, right? And that freedom that we have and that we are enjoying, right? It was given through bloodshed. And I am not inciting nothing, but one thing for sure, you cannot have freedom or a place like this without bloodshed. And with this huge division that this Biden administration is creating through the mandate, is creating a huge division among us, family and friend. Remember this wonderful proverb: a country divided won't stand, a group divided won't stand. And the second thing I want you to think about is per West. This is from WSJ, the Wall Street Journal. I want you to think about this. The OSHA, the Department of Labor, have also fallen through with the mandate. Right? Think this through. I want to read a part from this article briefly so you can understand what's happening, what OSHA is doing. Now, under the federal law, OSHA may bypass for 6 months the notice and commitments required by the Administrative Procedure Act to respond to emergency if it determined that, quote, employees are exposed to grave danger from exposure of substance or agent determined to be toxic or physically harmful, or form new hazard, and quotation, and that such standard is, quote, necessary to protect employee from such danger, end quote. The appeal court explained OSHA failed to satisfy either condition. OSHA couldn't show exposure or even the persistence of COVID at all covered workplace. It, quote, attempt to shoehorn in airborne viruses, end quote, widely presented in society and not like threatened. They are not life-threatening or most workers into neighboring phrases, common, toxic, or poisonous is not such. So, as I was reading this article, I read that particular part away from the title or headline. I read this to you, Wisershifters. This OSHA bill, or not bill, but OSHA following this mandate through the Biden administration, it's not right. And the reason being, if it is such under an emergency right? And it's being passed under an emergency reasoning, right? Why is it taking them until January 4th, I believe, or 6th for it to be ineffective, to be in effect? That doesn't make sense. If there is such, how could I say, harm, or in our case, we are in a pandemic. Why have not this been in place since it started? Why is it now being implemented or being passed? And also, the biggest red flag is that they're waiting after the holiday for such thing to take place, because they know if this taking place now or enforced now, it will mess up their money during the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? So they don't want to lose money, so they want to wait after the holiday. So now, does that make sense? Think it through, because the mindset they are showing us is that they don't care about you. They are worrying about their money, and if the money is effective, they do not want to lose that. So follow the money. Look at who pocket is fat. Because if it is that important, you want to protect the employees. Why are you waiting 2 months later to enforce such thing, or 3 months in the time that's just being recorded? It doesn't make sense. So I really want to know what is going on and why they're doing that, because a lot of people are facing the same thing that I'm facing. Potentially losing their job if their medical or religious accommodation is not approved. So now you have to make a decision to find another way to make ends meet. And that's not fair, but life is not fair. But let me say this, it's a huge violation of us as a citizen, where we are being forced. I know that's a trigger word. Let me just rephrase that. We are given an ultimatum to make a decision that's really not a decision, because either way you will be impacted. Either you take the vaccine and 10 years or 5 years down the line potentially harm your body beyond than what you believe it could do, or potentially death. We don't know what this is going to do if you decide to take it. And if you don't take it, you potentially losing your livelihood, right? To potentially make an income, because not only employers that have 100 or more employees, soon that's going to affect small businesses that have less than 100 employees. Think that through. Either way it goes, it is being pressured and pushed, and those who goes along with this get incentivized by normal activity that we are been doing for a lifetime. It's like we are an animal. If you're not vaccinated, you're gonna face some repercussion. Now, I want you to think it through. Tell me what you think about this video. And if you are facing the same difficulties with your employer, and if you have taken the vaccine, how do you feel and how things are going for you? Are you enjoying those incentivized privileges, or do you feel some kind of way? Or is this vaccine treating you well? I'm talking about internally, or if you someone who's benefiting well from it. Whatever the situation may be, I just want to hear your thought. I am not a doctor. I am just sharing my thought and my frustration and my current situation. And if you can relate, in the comment below, tell me how you feel and tell me how things are going for you, if you made a decision to be vaccinated or not, and how you are dealing with the thing mentally, and what some of the things that you're doing now. And the biggest thing I can encourage you, whether you took the vaccine or not, please find ways to start prepping and to be self-sufficient, because the moment that you continue to rely on the government or your employer or people who has control of your stream of income, you are never free, my friend, because at the end of the day, someone have control of your next move. They can control how and when you eat. and if you're able to pay rent or save for the future. Best bet I can say, get out of debt and to become self-sufficient. Thank you, Wisershifter, for watching a Mindset Monday thinking through episode. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. Please come back. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Wisershift, I am out. Well, wrong hand. This one. Yeah, this one. I'll see you guys next time. Please watch another videos here while you're here. And I'll see you next time. Like the video. Goodbye. Prep today, Wisershifters. Thank you.